it speaks, and I've learned to translate its language. My name is Sofia Rivera, and this is the story of how my weird dancing transformed neurological rehabilitation. But to understand how we got here, we need to start in a bedroom in Boston, where a young girl discovered that movement could heal. Growing up in a family of medical professionals, I was always the misfit. My father was a renowned neurologist, my mother a physical therapist, and my older sister Mara was already making waves in neurosurgery. Then there was me, spending hours creating unusual dance movements and recording their effects on my mood and physical state. Beta, my father would say, watching me practice my unconventional routines. You have a brilliant mind for medicine, why waste it on dancing? What they didn't understand was that I wasn't just dancing, I was researching. Every movement sequence was an experiment. Every physical response a data point in what would later become the foundation of neural movement therapy, NMT. The breaking point came during my final year at MIT, while my family celebrated Amara's acceptance into Harvard Medical School's neurosurgery program. I announced my decision to combine my computer science degree with dance therapy research. Dance won't heal brain injuries, my father said firmly. You're throwing away your potential. I met his gaze steadily and replied, Dad, the brain doesn't just think, it moves. And movement can reshape neural pathways. At the MIT Media Lab, I finally found my academic home. My professors recognized something unique in my approach to movement therapy, while others focused on traditional rehabilitation methods. I was exploring how artificial intelligence could analyze and optimize therapeutic movement patterns. The breakthrough came during my graduate research. I had been studying how different dance sequences affected neural activity, but I realized we were approaching movement therapy too conventionally. We weren't just dealing with physical rehabilitation, we were working with the brain's incredible capacity for neuroplasticity. Late one night in my movement laboratory, surrounded by motion capture sensors and neural monitoring equipment, I had my epiphany. Traditional therapy treated movement as a mechanical process, but what if we could approach it as a language of neural communication? I developed a revolutionary approach that combined advanced AI analysis with precise movement design. My system, which I called neural movement therapy, used machine learning to create personalized movement sequences that could target specific neurological conditions. My doctoral research caught the attention of Dr. Sarah Chong, a pioneering researcher in neuroplasticity at Johns Hopkins. She offered me a position in her laboratory, along with resources to develop my theories further. My family's reaction was predictable. Movement research? My mother exclaimed. Your sister just performed her first brain surgery. But I had stopped seeking their approval. 2 weeks after graduation, I was setting up my first clinical trial, my heart dancing with possibility. The initial results exceeded everyone's expectations. Within 6 months, our pilot study showed remarkable improvement in patients with various neurological conditions, from stroke recovery to movement disorders. But what really set NMT apart was its ability to adapt in real time, creating personalized therapy sequences based on each patient's neural responses. Dr. Chong was ecstatic. Sophia, this isn't just rehabilitation, it's neural revolution. Word spread quickly in the medical community. Rehabilitation centers began requesting trials, and research institutions worldwide wanted to study our methods. But it wasn't until the neurological crisis of 2024 that our work caught global attention. A new virus had left thousands with severe movement disorders that resisted conventional treatments, while traditional rehabilitation struggled. NMT showed extraordinary success in helping patients recover. Our AI-designed movement sequences helped rewire damaged neural pathways in ways that traditional therapy couldn't achieve. The International Neuroscience Foundation took notice. Suddenly, I was being invited to speak at medical symposiums, consulted by hospitals worldwide, and featured in neurological journals. NMT was being implemented in major medical centers, and similar programs were starting in developing nations. Yet my family remained skeptical. Dance therapy isn't real medicine, my sister said during one of our rare family dinners. You could be saving lives in the operating room by now. I didn't bother arguing. The results spoke for themselves. By 2025, NMT had successfully treated over 50,000 patients with conditions ranging from stroke recovery to neurodegenerative disorders. Our clinical data was undeniable. Movement-based neural healing was revolutionizing rehabilitation. Which brings us to today, standing up at this international medical symposium, facing a room full of neuroscientists, doctors, and yes, my family, finally here to witness what their weird dancer had become. My father's dismissive comment still hung in the air. Sophia's just dancing in her room. But as I looked out at the sea of faces, at the screens showing real-time neural imaging from our treatments, I felt only certainty. The cameras flashed as I began to speak. 20 years ago, a young girl believed that dance could heal the brain. Today, I'm here to tell you that she was right. Our nervous system isn't just a network of neurons, it's a choreography of connections, and we now have the technology to conduct this neural dance. I clicked to the first slide, showing the complex AI analysis of therapeutic movement patterns. When traditional rehabilitation couldn't help the victims of the neurological crisis, we had to think differently. We stopped treating movement as just physical therapy and started seeing it as neural communication. For the next hour, I explained the science behind NMT, the AI algorithms that analyzed movement patterns, the neural monitoring systems, the way we created personalized therapeutic choreographies for each patient, but more importantly, I shared our vision. We can transform rehabilitation, I declared, not by just exercising muscles, but by speaking directly to the nervous system through movement. The healing we needed wasn't just in medications or surgery, it was in understanding and working with the brain's own language of motion. The presentation ended with recent footage of patients recovering through our therapy, people walking who had been told they never would again, Parkinson's patients regaining fluid movement, stroke survivors rediscovering their balance. The applause was thunderous. Later, at the reception, my family approached. My mother's eyes were wet with tears. "Sophia," she said softly, "we were wrong, so wrong." My father, ever the neurologist, had questions about the neural mechanisms and plasticity responses. Even Amara, the neurosurgeon, was particularly interested in integrating NMT into postoperative recovery protocols. "You really did create a new kind of medicine," she admitted, hugging me tightly, "with dancing, of all things." But the most meaningful moment came when a young physical therapy student approached me, clutching a research proposal. "Dr. Patel Rivera," she said earnestly, "I want to be like you when I graduate. My professors say combining dance with AI isn't serious medicine, but..." I smiled, remembering my own journey. "Let me tell you a secret," I said. "Every medical breakthrough begins with someone questioning the conventional. Never let anyone tell you your ideas are too different or your approach too unconventional." That evening, I stood on my hotel balcony, watching the city move below. My phone was buzzing with messages, congratulations, collaboration requests, interview invitations, but my thoughts were in that long-ago bedroom, where a young girl believed in the healing power of movement. The next morning, I was back in our research center, fine-tuning our latest AI algorithms, because while awards and recognition are nice, the real reward is watching patients heal. Every successful recovery, every restored movement, every rediscovered ability, these are the true measures of success. My team has grown now. Young researchers from around the world come to learn our methods, each bringing their own insights and innovations. We've expanded beyond neurological conditions, adapting our therapy for psychological trauma, chronic pain, and developmental disorders. The work isn't always easy. We face challenges from skeptics, technical hurdles, and the complexity of neurorehabilitation. But every time I see data showing another successful recovery, I know we're on the right path. Last week, I received a package from my parents. Inside was my first movement journal, where I had meticulously recorded my early dance experiments. They'd kept it all these years. Tucked inside was a note. "Dear Sophia, we kept this to remind us of how wrong we were. Your weird dancing wasn't just playing, it was research. It was innovation. It was a new way of healing. We're sorry we didn't understand sooner. You didn't just create a new therapy, you showed us a new way of understanding the brain. Love, Mom and Dad." I keep that journal in my office now, alongside our sophisticated motion capture equipment and neural monitoring systems. It reminds me that great achievements often grow from unusual beginnings, that healing can take many forms, and that sometimes, the most powerful medicine comes from following your own rhythm. As I write this, I'm preparing for another day of research. Our AI will analyze new movement patterns, patients will heal, and somewhere, another person will rediscover the joy of fluid motion. My father might still think I'm just dancing, but I know better. I'm choreographing neural recovery, one movement at a time. And to that young girl in her bedroom, creating strange dances and believing in their healing power, you were right all along. Keep moving, keep experimenting, keep believing. The world needs your kind of medicine. Today, when people ask me what I do, I don't say I'm a neurologist or a dance therapist or even a movement specialist. I tell them I'm a neural choreographer, because that's what my work is really about, understanding the brain's dance. creating movements that speak its language, and helping it find its way back to health. Rehabilitation is evolving faster than anyone thought possible. Our method has been adopted by medical centers in over 50 countries. The World Health Organization has established new guidelines for movement-based therapy based on our research. And every day, more people are beginning to understand what that young girl in Boston knew all along, that healing isn't just about medicine and surgery, it's about speaking the body's own language of movement. My family now jokes that they should have taken dance lessons from me years ago, but this was never about dancing in the traditional sense. It was about proving that unconventional approaches, when combined with rigorous science, can lead to breakthroughs that change lives. As I prepare for my next presentation at the Global Neuroscience Summit, I think about all the other innovators out there, the ones being told their ideas are too strange, their methods too unorthodox. To them, I say, hold on to your vision, nurture it like a precious choreography, because you never know which unique perspective might grow into a solution that transforms medicine. The rehabilitation centers are moving with healing rhythms, and somewhere in Boston, in another bedroom laboratory, new experiments are taking shape. My niece has started creating her own movement sequences, much to everyone's amusement, but this time, no one's calling it weird. After all, they know better now. Sometimes, the biggest breakthroughs start with the strangest dances. And as for me, I'm still dancing in my room, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 10 years have passed since that medical symposium. The neural movement therapy program has exceeded our wildest expectations. Over 80% of major rehabilitation centers now include some form of AI-guided movement therapy in their treatment protocols. Patient outcomes have improved dramatically, and healthcare providers report more effective, personalized healing than they've seen in generations. My old bedroom in Boston has been preserved as an innovation center, where medical students come to learn about the foundations of neural movement therapy and explore their own innovative approaches to healing. My parents lead workshops there now, proudly explaining how their daughter's weird dancing revolutionized neurological rehabilitation. The young therapy student who approached me at the symposium, she's now one of our leading researchers, developing new applications of NMT for pediatric conditions. When I see her working with patients, that same look of wonder in her eyes that I had at her age, I know our legacy is in good hands. Last month, I received the highest honor of my career, not another medical award or research recognition, but a letter from a former patient who had been told she would never dance again. It contained a small music box and these words: Dr. Patel, you helped me remember what my body knew all along, that healing is about finding your own rhythm. This music box played the first song I danced to after recovering. Keep it, and remember that your work has created movements of hope across the world. That music box now sits in a special place in my laboratory, alongside my first movement journal. It reminds me that every great achievement starts with a simple belief that something as natural as movement can have profound healing power. To anyone reading this who's being told their ideas are too different, their methods too unconventional, or their vision too radical, remember my story. Remember that medicine needs all kinds of minds, all kinds of approaches, all kinds of movement. And sometimes, just sometimes, weird dancing can heal the world.